Um, okay, so I'll do a guided meditation because I seem to do the best with that kind of format. So getting in a meditation posture. And if you're seated on a cushion, then there's these points of Virachana. But if you're seated in a chair, which probably many of us are, then your feet flat on the floor. And then usually in a chair, if you sit on the edge of the chair, it's actually a better positioning of the body because you're not relying on the back unless you need that. And your back sort of naturally straight. So spines have natural curves, so you don't have to fight against that. Your left hand cupping your right hand, and then your thumbs touching, kind of creates like a sort of triangle shape. Your head tilted slightly forward, and your eyes slightly open usually, or all the way open, but closed if you need it. And your tongue behind your upper top teeth. And then just notice where you have tension in your body and attempt to sort of release it if you can. So often shoulders is a big one, but it can be in other places in the body. And then bring your attention, your mental focus, to the sensation of air passing in and out of your nostrils. In the beginning, it can help to count your breaths or to say in and out as a way of kind of anchoring your focus. And then in the longer term, after practice, uh, just focusing on the mere sensation of air. So that's temperature and pressure. It's going to feel one temperature as it goes in. It's going to feel one temperature as it goes out. And that's more subtle objects. So you can just choose whatever object helps your mind focus and relax. We'll just do this for 5 or so minutes. And then imagine surrounding you are universal beings in the form of humans. And the beings you have difficulty with, you put in front of you as a symbol of having to deal with them. And the beings you have neurotic clinging to, you put behind you in order to give you some space. And then surrounded by all the beings you have neutral feelings for. So you just don't forget about them. And you imagine guiding them in this practice, even though I'm doing the words, saying the words, but you imagine you're guiding them. And visualize in this space in front of you a Shakyamuni Buddha seated on the throne. He wears the robes of a monk and holds a begging bowl in his left hand, and his right hand touches the earth um, as a symbol of his enlightenment, and the earth as a witness of his enlightenment. His skin is, we imagine he's kind of made of light and dynamic, sort of like a hologram. So his skin is brilliant, like glowing. His face is serene. His lips are red. His hair is peacock blue and has on top of his head is a crown protrusion called an Ushnisha, which is a symbol of his enlightenment. There's kind of in his third eye, what we call his third eye, is a tuffet of white hair. These are sort of some of the symbols of the form body of the Buddha. He's surrounded on teaching thrones other Buddhas, um, bodhisattvas, and other holy beings. They're all engaging in various forms of practicing Dharma. Maybe they're teaching or reading, reciting, meditating, helping others. And think, if I Don't change the unsustainable habits of body, speech, and mind, negative habits of body, speech, and mind. And I will cycle um, through them. I will cycle in samsara for a very long time. These figures represent everything I want to achieve. They have a perfect kind of wisdom, a perfect kind of compassion by definition. So we develop some sort of trust or faith in what they represent, what they can teach us. With that kind of mind, we then take refuge. So I go for refuge until I'm aligned to the Buddha, the Dharma, and Supreme Assembly by my virtue of generosity, or of giving and so forth, of generosity and so forth. May I become a Buddha to benefit all beings. And then think, imagine prostrating to all of these Buddhas, their body, speech, and mind. So bowing or holding your hands in prostration as a sign of physical prostration. And then the prayer that we did is verbal prostration. And then most importantly is the thought of respect and And imagine making offerings. So make them fill all of space. Make them pure in the sense that they don't disturb the minds of living beings. So you could offer water for drinking, water for bathing, flowers, incense, like perfume, food and music, and all the other things that we like. You can think of all the water bowls people have put out, so different kinds of offerings, and all the Buddhist countries, Buddhist centers. uh, and declare your negative actions of body, speech, and mind, so non-virtues. So declare, sort of just acknowledge them as a way of confessing them. And then rejoice in all the positive uh, actions of body, speech, and mind, also the virtues of body, speech, and mind that all classes of beings engage in. So rejoice in the activity of Buddhists and Bodhisattvas and different other classes of beings, your friends, yourself, strangers, the so-called enemies. Rejoice in every single useful, helpful, kind, compassionate thing that everyone does. And then make requests for these holy beings to remain until everyone is enlightened. Have them, you're making requests for them to remain and to teach Dharma. So remain and teach. So traditionally you'd visualize offering teaching thrones or wheels to represent the Eightfold Path, eight-spoked wheels. Then dedicate that all these visualizations you've done so far, that you become enlightened, just like Shakyamuni Buddha, for the benefit of others. Then imagine you're offering the universe. Again, it's like a second set of offerings. And then if you know the mandala uh, visualization, then you could offer that, where just offer sort of a purified universe. And then we can do the mandala prayer. Om Zuzi Bugi Jujun Edon Tramiravliji Nidigen Padi Sanye Jindu Mite Uwahi Shogunanda Jinwa Shubasho. So imagine these replicas of the universe being offered to all these Buddhas, and they accept all your offerings, and it brings bliss to their minds and a smile to their face. And then make a request to Shakyamuni Buddha. May I become exactly like you. Then imagine a replica of Shakyamuni Buddha descends to the crown of your head and heads of all beings. And at the center of the Buddha's chest is a ball of light. Imagine light rays are emanating, filling the whole universe with light that both purifies and generates. So purifies negative karmas and generates uh, merit or positive action, or positive karmas. And you can think about beings in your own life that are suffering or need help in some sort of way. People are sick or sad or in conflict. And you think about humans, but also non-human beings, animals, insects, and so forth. There's so many. As we say that, as we visualize that, then we'll chant this mantra. Shakyamuni Buddha mantra. And you just visualize that you're dispelling problems, negative karma, obscurations, confusion, neurotic clinging, hatred, and you are generating compassion, wisdom, generosity, patience, ethics, diligence, concentration, wisdom, these kinds of things. And then I'll just keep sort of light count with the Imagine that Buddha dissolves into light and descends to the crown of your head to the third eye region, filling your body with a white light, purifying all the negative karma and obscurations associated with the body. And then descends to your throat, filling your body with the red light, purifying all the karma and obscurations associated with speech, accumulated with speech. And descending to the center of the chest, the heart region, filling the body with blue light, purifying all negative karma and obscurations accumulated with the mind. And then body, speech, and mind, red, white, white, red, and blue simultaneously. Imagine that Buddha light it dissolves into your heart region and you become inseparable and indistinguishable from the energy of Shakyamuni Buddha. Then imagine you and all beings arise in the form of Shakyamuni Buddha. And then rest in the knowing that there's no suffering anywhere in the universe because all beings have arisen as Buddhas. Then throughout the day today or evening, depending on where you are in the world, try and hold on to this kind of feeling that you're um, indistinguishable from Shakyamuni Buddha. And you'll act accordingly. And think of all the activity that's allowed us to be together today. All the volunteers at Tuktu Norbuling and some other um, direct and indirect sort of connections that have allowed this to occur. Your effort being here. I want to dedicate all that merit. So we dedicate to long lives of our spiritual teachers. May we always from our side see the best in their qualities and see them as Buddhas. May we never be separated from them. May we always receive teachings from them, and may we be able to serve them to the best of our ability. May we never be separated from the path of renunciation, bodhicitta, the pure view and emptiness, and 2 stages of tantric practice. We never separated from teachings of Lama Zopa, and then the teachings of the other Tibetan Buddhist schools, Sakya Nyingma Kagi. And may all those that think about us, remember us, dream of us, speak to us, hear our voices, see our bodies, hear our names, speak our names, touch our bodies, love us, hate us, hurt us, even up to the point of killing us. May they always be a reborn human, be qualified Mahayana teachers and friends, and become Buddhas in that very instant. May we become like holy objects for others. No matter how they interact with us, may be good for them, in the sense of beneficial for the spiritual practice, may be beneficial for them. May all the environmental problems of this earth instantly cease, in order that those who practice the Dharma may continue to practice in peace, those who are about to begin practicing Dharma may begin in peace, and those who have yet to hear of the Dharma may hear of it in peace. May all wars, famine, quarreling, different forms of oppression instantly cease by virtue of their means. May all the non-human beings that suffer in this universe, may they be free from every suffering and have every kind of happiness. May they eventually become Buddhas for the benefit of others. May all the mundane needs of beings come instantly into fruition. Food, medicine, financial resources, and so on. Companionship. May everyone have what they need in order to have baseline stability to practice spiritual paths. May we not hesitate to help someone accomplish their mundane needs within reason. And may all the spiritual, super mundane goals of beings, wishes come into fruition. So people want to study, become nuns or monks, build temples and statues and so on and so forth, social service organizations, retreat, to memorize and read. May they be able to do those things without any obstacle. And if we can help beings achieve their spiritual goals, may we not hesitate to help them, within reason. May all the institutions that support human growth, particularly spiritual growth, may they have every resource they need. Interest is a very important one. May they have the interest of others. And then finances, buildings, whatever they need to help others develop more compassion and wisdom. So within reason, may we not hesitate to be able to provide some resources. Then as we've done this practice, many people have died or begun the process of dying, or have found out that they'll die soon, or relatively soon. May, if they're able to become well or free from that condition that brings death, then may they be well, may they heal and become well. And if that's not possible, then may they transition to death with total peace and clarity. And may they practice their meditations and become Buddhas in the Bardo state. By whatever method will work for them. And if that's not possible, then may they be reborn human, be qualified Mahayana teachers or friends, study the path, become Buddhas as quickly as possible. And then at the very least, no matter what happens in our lives, whether we become Buddhist or not, whether we remain Buddhist or not, at the very least, may we always have kind heart, warm heart, brave, courageous. May we always work to benefit beings and to alleviate their suffering. Okay, and then when you're ready, you can open up your eyes. I haven't left time for any discussion, but I will see you next week. I'll be here. Okay, so thank you all. Thank you all.
Thank you so much, Michael.
You're so welcome. Yeah.